aerial in. And I've had all sorts of weird estimates. Lee told me today, he's very accurate. He said, Dad, it's about 3 metres off the ground, so I'm getting hold of a nice, strong, sturdy pole. Didn't go to aluminium. And sometime soon, instead of being 3 or 3.5 metres above ground, it's going to go up to 7 or 8 metres above ground. So I should get some improved reception. It might not make that much difference in transmission, but will definitely improve the reception. So that's rather exciting for me. And Graham, how exciting to work the aircraft there. Some years ago I worked a 747. I used to get the call sign at the station. But he was flying between Fiji and New York on 20 metres, and he was very strong. But that's good to get something like that. Okay, on the flares, we've been having the flares for a while now, and they take the signals right out, of course, which is what they do. But I did notice some electronic noises as the signals came back. And today, Lee sent me a link to a podcast called The Sounds of the Sun. I think that was its title. And it was good video, about half an hour podcast, Google podcast. And that had some of the sounds of the sun were those sounds that I hear when the solar flares are wearing off. So that's rather exciting that I can identify some of those sounds. Okay, well that'll do for me. That was a long over. Thanks again for the broadcast, Smith. This is excellent. And you report again between 5 and 9 plus 10 and 5 and 9 plus 30. 3K3EKH. My Google Home has decided to do strange things. I said something that triggered her, and now she's throwing podcasts at me. VK3EKH, VK3VIN, over.
Yeah, no worries, Ian. VK3VIN, VK3EKH. You were peaking up to 20 over at that just towards the end there. My modem has rebooted. All lights are green, and my YouTube stream is back up and running. For those that are wanting to link back into the YouTube stream, I've got a red indicator telling me that it's connected, and the modem is behaving itself. So we're back up and running on YouTube. Yeah, okay, and looking forward to seeing if there's any improvement with your signal once you can get that antenna a little higher. Certainly, but you're not doing too bad right now. I've certainly, not only do I hear you here, but I have heard you on 40 meters as well during the day. So you do get out reasonably well from your location there. So all's good. But anyway, it'd be interesting to see how it goes if you can get that antenna a little higher for sure. Yes, I've spoken to ham radio operators that are aeronautical mobile myself too, a number of times, and it's always a bit of a glee thing to know that you're able to chat to a pilot that happens to be a ham as well on a flight between destinations. I know that on 30 meters on 10125, there is a station there that often comes up on the frequency, who's flying around the place. I've spoken to him as well. So yeah, a bit interesting when that sort of situation occurs. But certainly, yeah, all very interesting. What else was there in that? Yeah. Anyway, all right. Thanks, Ian. Thanks very much for calling in. Much appreciated. Greg, VK3 Delta X-ray, warrantable VK3 EKH. Have a say.
Yeah, good on you, Clint. VK3 EKH, VK3 Delta X-ray, and the net tonight. Good net there, good broadcast there, Clint. Interesting comments here, as it always is. As I don't understand a lot of it, but pick up bits and pieces there. And it's good. Good evening to everyone else that's on there. Signals are reasonably good tonight, and yeah, not too bad. Also, happy Easter to everybody. They've got a bit of chocolate if they can afford it. I believe the price of Easter eggs is sky high at the moment, due to the shortage of cocoa beans out of Africa, so they've had to go to Peru. And over there, it's apparently cocaine is cheaper than cocoa beans. Yeah, wonder why. What goes on there? Interesting on Graham, they're talking to the pilot here. Well, it must have been back in the 70s, I think. Late 70s, early 80s, there was a chap here in Warrnambool, chap by the name of Billy Bell, and call sign VK3 Whiskey WK. Anyway, he used to ferry planes out from Cumbria. He flew out of California. He picked them up in America, brought them out here flew them out for people that had, brought them over here. It was obviously cheaper to do it that way. He came to grief off Hawaii there once and went down. The US Navy had to rescue him. But he continued to do it. He's now silent key. Yeah, there was a big article in the Herald Sun at the time. So I used to catch up with him quite often. And it's surprising how many aeronautical people there are out there at times, that's for sure. Anyway, getting off the subject there, Clint, won't hold it, mate. You have a happy Easter, and we'll talk to you again there shortly. 73, and we'll catch everybody hopefully there next week, next Friday night. VK3 EKH, VK3 Delta X-ray, Greg and Warrnambool.
Thanks, Greg. VK3 Delta X-ray, VK3 EKH, not a problem at all. Thanks for checking in. And yeah. Just thinking maybe I should try and find less heavy articles. Anyway, but I just collect what there is that comes off the news feeds and read them out. So there it is. Thanks, Greg. You're about 20 over 9 here tonight, so certainly a good signal coming up from your direction too. Okay. All right. Thanks, Greg. Across to Robert, VK3 GOD, VK3 EKH. And happy Easter to you too also, Greg.
Yeah, good, Clint. Don't change the format, mate, just because of me. I enjoy listening to what you're telling us there each week, so that's not an issue, mate. No worries at all. And by the way, you're 30 over on peaks.
No worries, Greg. Understand. Take it, Rob.
VK3 EKH, VK3 POD. Interesting broadcast tonight. Got a few pieces there that caught my interest. Eddie Tang seems to be an excellent astrophotographer. His work has been talked about a lot recently, so that's good to see that little video. I haven't been out doing any astronomy in the past week, But it's very cool sky tonight, so I might take the C-Star 50 out the backyard and see what I can do for a while. Skies overnight, like 30 or 20 here, mostly sunny. Good broadcast, good solid signal, and very interesting as I said. Hope everyone has a safe and happy Easter, and I'll be back next week. VK3 EKH, VK3 GOD.
Yeah, great, Robert. VK3GOD, VK3 EKH returning. Excellent stuff. Thanks for checking in and for the good comments there. And I agree about Eddie. I haven't met him yet, but I suspect it's very, very close to catching up with Eddie at some stage and sharing some thoughts and ideas about how things get done from an astrophotography point of view. Once I get my dome set up and a telescope set up and a camera attached and all ready to start doing exactly the same thing, I'm sure I'm going to be sending out questions to everybody. How do I do it? Anyway, yeah, I'm just running this 2-minute video again over YouTube and on the TV too. So yeah, it really is quite stunning. Whenever he publishes a new photograph on Facebook, I'm always giving him praise and always a thumbs up, and I'm always making comments that it's just stunning, the image that he's able to collect. So it really is good. To the majority of the human race, they just wouldn't have a clue that what's up there in the heavens and that it can look so beautiful, so stunning. So there it is. Thanks, Robert. Okay, across to you there, Steve, who knows all about it too. VK3SPX, VK3EKH.
VK3EKH, VK3SPX. Yeah, no worries, Clint. Yes, happy Easter to you and everybody else. Yeah, Eddie's images are first rate, aren't they? They're just fantastic. I don't think I've quite achieved Eddie's standards. They're just magnificent and quite a lot of work and experience to get to that clarity of image. They're really great. Speaking of images, the images of Sagittarius A with that jet stream and the other black hole were pretty amazing too. And I was also intrigued, I don't know if I got this right, but I think you said on the sun there was a 7-degree difference between the poles and the equator. That just seems amazing, considering there's millions and millions of degrees. 7 degrees sounds just totally so insignificant. So I don't know if I got that right. That just seems amazing. And yeah, I'm having fun on the radio today. I played with 10 metres a bit and got some 10 metres to New Zealand and VK6, but I think one to the US. But I also did play on 20 metres, Clint, and I talked to Norbert in the Netherlands, PA0SWX, and I'm just wondering if it's he you heard, because he was 10 over 9 here, and he gave me a 5.7, which I thought was pretty good too. Anyway, yes, and I suppose you better tell us about your telescope if you've got any further about it. If you haven't, don't feel you need to talk about it. All right, thanks, Clint. VK3EKH, VK3SPX.
Yeah, good on you, Steve. VK3SPX, VK3EKH returning. No, it's still no progress at this stage. I was this being a long weekend, I was kind of hoping that I might make a start on doing things, and I might do. I might make a start. Although the weather, apparently the weather's going south as of Monday. Don't know yet, but they're saying there's reasonable moisture coming down and going to certainly affect the northeastern part of Victoria and quite possibly the western part too. How much gets into Melbourne, I don't know, but yeah, we'll find out. So enjoy the next 2 days. That's all I can say. Okay, I'll better put my camera back up. Hang on, I've been just running Eddie's vision again. Yeah, so yeah, well, likewise, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how long it'll take for me to get to a similar quality and standard that Eddie's creating, particularly from a location here in suburbia. But I understand, I've seen it, I know it's possible to take some of these stunning images with special filters attached to the camera and special processing and maybe extra long exposures, but so I'm just very keen to get my own little catalogue of celestial objects down into a book, and what you can do from a suburban backyard is essentially what I'm keen to illustrate from this location. Yes, it was. What's his name? Albert. It wasn't Albert. The one you mentioned anyway. Yeah, it was him. He was a good 20 over 9 here, and I came in when he just finished talking to a VK3, and then VK3 Mike Oscar, VK3 MO was calling him, and that started a very interesting conversation about antennas, because the Netherlands station wanted to find out more about the phased array and the kind of antennas that 3MO was running. So it was a very interesting conversation between the two that lasted probably maybe half an hour or so. And then there was a couple of other stations, American side stations, I think, that came up and spoke to him too. So it was a good hour or so of decent signal coming in from Europe. Yeah, excellent stuff. I should have actually come up and said g'day too from here, but I was in the middle of doing things with the soldering iron and all other stuff. Thanks, Steve. All right, let's get a jig along. I think it's Paul, VK3 Delta Alpha, VK3 EKH.
Yeah, VK3 EKH, VK3DA, long time no hear, Clint. Thank you for that most informative broadcast as per normal. It's nice to catch up and get a gist of what's going on. Signal-wise for you, you've had 15 over 9 with me, very strong, very clear, beautiful audio as per usual. Fantastic images from Eddie Pang there. I dare say, looking at his original setup, he's got a modified DSLR, but some of those images are definitely CCD quality. So I dare say he's probably moved on like most of us had done. I think you were mentioning that you want to go down that awful rabbit hole of astrophotography. I think you're the type of guy who likes to challenge things, so you're probably very well suited by the time you finish your setting up your second guide or your guide scope and all your guiding and so forth, and then you've got to process the thing and figure out how to take your biases, flats and darks and so forth, and plate solving as well, and auto-focusing and flip rotation, away you go. So been down that pathway. I think you mentioned before there was another CME that may be hitting us, so if that's the case, I'll charge up some batteries. I think although the moon is probably not in favour, and I dare say by the time it hits us we might get a bit of cloud, which is typical of any solar flares that tend to hit us, which probably happened about 3 or 4 days ago. So anyway, but good to catch up with you, Clint. Looking at your picture there on YouTube, you look relatively quiet, so I'm going to keep it short. VK3 EKH, VK3DA, thanks for the great broadcast, and happy Easter, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. VK3DA, VK3 EKH returning. Not a problem. Good to hear you. Definitely good to hear you here. And I've got another picture up of Eddie's other telescopes on screen right now. So this was taken up at the Dark Sky site, on the observation field, and he loves his telescopes. He's obviously spent lots of money on his telescopes and the mounts that he's got there, But you know, it's mind-boggling that with such a small telescope, that he's able to get these amazing images. So I'm super impressed, and yeah, I'm going down the same rabbit hole. I'm not going to turn back at this stage because I'm just starting out. I've bought myself a scope dome, a 3-meter scope dome, and you know, they're pretty expensive. So I'm fairly serious. I'm trying to organise a deck, a surface for the dome to be built on. I mean, I do have a deck, but there's a few issues with this deck at the moment. So as soon as I can get the deck flattened out a little bit, because the dome requires a pretty smooth, flat surface. So yeah, as soon as I get the dome up and running, then I'll be I've got 3 telescopes to play with. But I've got a Celestron, an 8-inch Celestron telescope, and I'm still working out cameras at this point. But I know you can use a mobile phone. I've seen all the evidence to suggest that mobile phones, there are adapters that you can put on the front of or the back of the telescope, and fit a mobile phone. So a mobile phone will work perfectly well as a camera. But I certainly would prefer a proper cooled low noise camera for doing this sort of stuff. So a bit more money to spend is coming up in the near future, I'm afraid to say. And I am looking forward to being in my astronomer's room upstairs, which used to be the shack, to sit there in front of the computer in the darkness of the room, analysing all these images coming in from the observatory, and you know, processing these images. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to doing all that. But I know it's trial and error. I know it's all trial and error, and there's more like, you know, out of 10 attempts to take a picture, you know, you like I don't know the exact ratio, but it's to get that one image, one photograph that's the best image that you've collected. It can sometimes take up to 10 attempts to get one image that is you know, the one that you've been working so hard to get. So I know it's going to take some effort to get some decent photographs, particularly from this location here. Anyway, well, look, we'll keep everybody here abreast of what's going on. Once I get the dome set up and the telescope up and running, I'll certainly keep everybody informed of everything I find out, all the trials and tribulations, and then start showing the results. And I can't wait to actually put a camera on the telescope and be able to run images live over the ATV repeater. You know, solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, and also some images of deep sky through the processing system, and you know, just sort of run that through the repeater, television repeater. So I'm looking forward to doing that at some point. Thanks, Paul. Great to hear. Thanks for calling in. And now it's across to Sandeep, VK4. If you're still there, Sandeep, VK4 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Hopefully we'll be able to copy you. VK4 WXW, VK3 EKH.
I'm writing about 150 watts into
that antenna or the project is just turned into an install. So yeah, just battling that at the moment, but otherwise, things are cool. I don't have a lot of noise on 20 meters, unfortunately, so it's pretty much noise tells you everything. I can't hear anything, so I think I need to find a noise source or find something a bit more directional. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, we used to tell us I was studying at Port Macquarie on a family visit. This is inland west, about 20 minutes west of Port Macquarie, and this is bush, and I was operating portable briefly there, and it's an excellent place to put the egg thing. I had it set up with vertical about 10 meters length of line going up above glass pole, and the noise pole was nothing, so the base there picked up the aiming and everything, and I made a few contacts on 20 meters Europe and the US, so it got out pretty well. Might just putting maybe an SDR or some sort of a listening station out there, and log in from home by looking at that. So anyway, so future plans. Yeah, so thanks for the broadcast, Clint, and happy to you and everyone listening to this evening. And yeah, I'll put it back to you. VK3, VKH, or VK4, WXW.
Yeah, no worries, Sands. VK4WXW, VK3EKH replying. Yeah, not a bad signal. I've got some local noise here from my modem. My modem produces a certain level of white noise across the whole 80 meter band, and it just tends to mask some of the weaker signals. But you're basically 5 and 9 is what I'll give you. 5 and 9 here into Melbourne. A little bit of QSB, taking you down to a readability 4, but essentially you're around the S9, so not that 150 watts isn't doing too bad for you. And the full wave loop, so there it is. It's working quite well for you. And yes, I'm looking at the your images on QRZ.com. It's a very the shack that I don't think that this. I think the shack that you've pictured here on QRZ.com is the one that you were sitting at with the when you're up at Christmas Island. Because I remember working you when you're at Christmas Island with the VK9WX some time ago. So yeah, note that you're now living just outside Brisbane there. So hope you're enjoying the weather up there. I'm not really that weather up there would get to me after a while. It's just a little bit on the humid side, but yeah. It certainly takes a certain person to get used to that climate up at the Queensland area, but nevertheless, there it is. And yes, you got some very nice equipment there. I like the ACU stuff, the 101, and yeah, I've got a whole range of ACU equipment, which I hope to. I'm working on the shack. The new shack is in a bit of a messy state at the moment, but I'm hoping that by the end of the year, at least, I'll have the ACU station fully presented, as well as my Collins station, and for the camera view at the moment will look pretty impressive. What goes over the repeater and YouTube, so it's a work in progress. Thanks, Sandeep, for calling in. Good to hear you, and it's a good signal coming in from Brisbane, and yeah, it's nice to hear you for sure. Thanks for calling in and the kind words there. All the best for the Easter weekend to you, and call in again for sure. Okay, is there any other stations that wish to check in for tonight? VK3 EKH listening. G'day, Mitch. VK3 Zulu Tango. Have a say, mate.
G'day, Clint. I hope you can hear me well. I know I'm a bit of a weak one.
Just want to say hello to all my friends that have been on tonight, and all those that don't know, hello to you too. Happy Easter to everybody, and thank you for the broadcast. Nick West, and I wish you good night. I'll keep it short and sweet.
There it was. VK3 Zulu Tango, VK3 EKH. Yep, not a problem. 5 and 9, just a little bit stronger than Sandeep. But yeah, coming through much better than in previous Fridays. That was a good copy. Not a problem at all. Thanks for the kind words and checking in. Much appreciated. And certainly all the best for the weekend too. All right. On that note, I shall say cheers to everybody. Thanks very much for everybody calling in tonight. It's the callback was good, and have a safe weekend. We'll see you all next Friday. Next Friday for sure, with some news, more new articles to go through. And in the meantime, yeah, take care and happy Easter, and look after yourselves, please. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel for the Astronomical Society of Victoria. If more information about the ASV can be found by going to the website at www.asv.org.au. In the meantime, yep, take care. VK3 EKH with VK3 CSJ on the microphone, concluding transmissions for the time being. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah, VK3ZT, VK3GL, g'day there, Mitch. And Clint, pop back up in a sec if you don't mind. Yeah, g'day there, Mitch. How you going, mate? Over.
And the HS antenna, I've seen all similar design, but the